Natural physics is a concept astrophysicist LeRoy Larry developed that explains in down-to-earth scenarios how the principles of physics could have come about from observing nature. Each episode begins with a scenario, followed by an example to illustrate the application of these principles in futuristic research at the frontiers of science, such as LeRoy's astrophysics doctoral research, and then concludes with an exploration of how these same principles could have very well been used by ancient cultures and civilizations. Mathematics is naturally encountered and incorporated as the exciting and fun tool of science that it is. Science is the window into our amazing world of nature, and mathematics is the tool to open that window. Natural physics encompasses current, futuristic, and ancient physics, and ties them together by the principles of physics that are common threads running throughout each.
So I guess the next phase of your visit here, you and your family, is to go out and about within Costa Rica and personally observe and gather data on what Costa Rica did with respect to biodiversity and global warming, and being able to put those two together and be the global leader in sustainability.
Yes, I'm excited to discover that.
And you're spending a lot of time here, right? In Costa
Yes,
Rica.
2 months. 2 months.
How long?
2 months.
Wow. Okay. 2 months to collect the data. I think it is such a magnificent endeavor that you and your family have taken upon yourself to come here. And as you said, you only a couple of years ago, you heard that Costa Rica was the global leader in sustainability. And as you said also, you wonder why that is not known only 2 years ago, right? You wonder why there has not been more news spread around the world about, hey, Costa Rica's doing this, Costa Rica's doing that. And so for you to have only heard about this 2 years ago, and then to take the initiative to come here and find out for yourself how Costa Rica did it, very commendable, Pascal. Very, very commendable. And wow, I personally, I I know my family, we're so happy to be living here. And and then when you learn things about the country you're living in, for example, that it's the global leader in sustainability, it makes you really, really happy that you chose to come here. And so Uh, wow. Okay, okay. I mean, my goodness. Pascal, in closing, with respect to the uh, the contribution that CubeSats have been able to make to the whole sustainability uh, topic and gathering the data that is necessary for scientists around the world in all the countries to get a handle on the effects of the CO2 emission and biodiversity, the disappearance of species. Uh, CubeSats are very, very, very important. And in closing, on the subject of CubeSats with respect to sustainability, what would you say? I
Yeah,
think,
but you have also mainly the for the sustainability. I'm not sure this is the CubeSat much. I think
oh,
it's a general satellite
oh, okay.
because the data needs a huge sensor, so huge satellite. But the CubeSat is more like a small one to educate people about how the satellite is working.
Pascal, we're going to leave the CubeSat subject just for a bit because what was intriguing to me was how you talked about in respect to biodiversity and species and the earth and us surviving, and you talked about the dinosaurs. You had a very interesting graphic that I would like to bring up, and I would just like to ask you to speak to it.
Yeah, to give more information regarding the previous show, a lot of people think it's not a big deal if we go back to bacterial and kill all the animals and all the plants. It is fine. Life will appear again. But I have a bad news for you. If we track the formation on Earth since it appeared, we will not have time to recover about all the disaster we are making, all the biodiversity lost, if we go too low. So if we take a look on that graphic, you can see as an example and replace by centimeter so you can better understood the scale. So if you consider the appearance of the Earth, it's 0 centimeter. It took us 7 centimeters to have the first life in the ocean.
Yes, first life. Okay.
Yeah, so as a bacteria and similar things. And then it took us 8.5 centimeters to have the first dinosaur.
Yes. Yes.
You see?
Yes.
And then the human appear almost at 9 centimeters. But at some point, our planet will die because the sun will turn red and big and will absorb our Earth. So all life will disappear on Earth for sure. And it's not related to human activity. It's always been like that. Because sun appear and disappear, and we are very close planets, so we will be slower because it's the sun at some point. So we are pretty close to the end of life. So if we destroy all the biodiversity, the time we will need to grow again the biodiversity is so long, so we'll have already be slowed by the sun, because from 7 centimeter to 8.5 centimeter, you can see so large, and we
Yes.
already is in human period, and it's overshooting the death of our planet. So we have no time to recover of the biodiversity lost. If we are losing too much biodiversity, we will
Okay.
be dead by that. So it's really important not go too low on biodiversity, because we
Okay.
will not be able to recover. And without that biodiversity, we cannot survive. So I start to asking myself, if we had to disappear, what is the role of human beings here? If it's not destroying the planet, hopefully, maybe it's recover the planet, and maybe it's regarding the space purpose. Why our species want to always discover things. As Europeans, we try to discover America and India, travel so much and discover, and then today we go to space. So all those things inside us should have a purpose. What is the purpose of that? The space field. Maybe it's to allow us to jump to another planet before our planet will die, and bring all these species with us, like Bible say, and then make them survive in another planet. But like we see, Mars is not really reliable planets we can go, and it's
Right.
too close to the sun.
Yes.
So we train ourselves to go Mars, like a baby, start to walk
Yes.
and discover the world. So it's a beginning, but we will have to go much farther than that if we want to save life in another planet. And the other one is 5 light years far away. So we will have to manage space
Now,
travel and nail it.
and
So
you
we
know
need
what?
a lot of time for that. So we have time, it's okay. But
Ed,
we should focus to save the planet and be good in it.
you said 5 light years away. Now, I don't know if people realize how far that is, but a light year is a measurement of distance, and it's the distance that light can travel in 1 year. So, light traveling at 300,000 kilometers per second or 186,000 miles per second, that's the distance that light can travel in 1 year. And how many seconds are there in a year? You got to multiply. There's 365 days in a year. There's 24 hours in each day. There's 60 minutes in each hour. And there's 60 seconds in each minute. So you got to multiply all those numbers together and then multiply that by 5 to get how the distance of 5 light years. And it's huge. That 5 light year number you gave, that's an enormous distance away from Earth. 5 light years, right?
Yeah,